Jackson never imagined he'd be a single dad, especially not at 35. After losing his wife to cancer, grief had wrapped around him like winter frost, cold, constant, and biting. He moved back to his hometown in Idaho, thinking the quiet would help him breathe again. But small towns have long memories, and every street corner whispered reminders of the life he lost. Then came the knock. Evelyn Prescott stood on his porch like a ghost from a life he didn't know he needed. A widow herself with soft eyes and a tremble in her voice, she clutched the hands of her twin girls like a shield. She'd been shunned by her controlling family after refusing to remarry the man they'd chosen for her. Jackson didn't ask questions. He saw the desperation in her eyes, the same look he saw in the mirror every morning. "Can we stay? Just until I find work?" she whispered, soaked from the rain. He hesitated, then nodded. Evelyn and her girls moved into the small guest house behind his barn. At first, they kept their distance. The girls were skittish, Evelyn quiet, and Jackson closed off. But time has a way of softening what life has hardened. Her girls taught his son how to laugh again. Her baking reminded him of warmth, and her quiet strength, how she'd wake at dawn to take care of her girls, how she'd hum lullabies while planting wildflowers, began healing the places inside him that grief had scorched. One evening he found Evelyn sitting on the porch, her head resting against the wooden rail, the twins asleep inside. She looked up, eyes rimmed with tears. "I thought I was broken beyond repair," she whispered. He sat beside her. "Me too." They didn't fall in love overnight, but over small things, a cup of coffee, a bedtime story, the sound of laughter returning to the farmhouse, they began to stitch each other back together. What started as a place of refuge became a home. Neither of them had expected to be saved. But sometimes, love finds you in the wreckage and chooses to stay. That spring, the wildflowers bloomed early. Evelyn planted them by the fence, a splash of color against the gray remnants of winter. Jackson watched from the kitchen window, coffee in hand, wondering how something so simple could feel so profound. His son, Caleb, ran barefoot through the grass with the twins, their laughter ringing like wind chimes in the breeze. He hadn't heard that kind of joy in years. Evelyn was different than he expected. She didn't push, didn't pry. She didn't speak about the husband she'd lost or the family who turned their backs on her. But in the quiet, in the way she tucked her girls into bed with soft kisses or left fresh cornbread on his porch, Jackson saw her story. She was made of resilience, wrapped in gentleness. One night, as thunder rumbled in the distance, the power flickered and went out. Caleb panicked. Storms reminded him too much of hospital machines and sleepless nights. Jackson rushed to his side, but Evelyn was already there, holding a flashlight beneath her chin, making silly faces. The twins giggled. Caleb hesitated, then joined in. Later, once the kids were asleep and the rain tapped gently on the roof, Jackson found her again on the porch, a blanket over her lap, hair still damp from the earlier downpour. "You're good with him," he said softly, leaning against the frame of the door. She smiled. "He's easy to love." So was she. But Jackson was still scared. Scared of moving forward, scared of letting go, scared of losing again. Evelyn seemed to sense it. She never asked for more. She just kept showing up every single day with kindness that didn't demand anything in return. The twins started calling him Mr. J. Caleb started sleeping through the night again. Evelyn started humming more often. Slowly, the house that had once felt like a tomb began to feel alive. And one day, without ceremony, Caleb looked up at Evelyn and asked, "Can I call you Mom?" She cried. Jackson did too, quietly, where no one could see. Because by then he knew. They hadn't just healed his heart. They'd rebuilt it.